That shit is fire.
Oh, the hoodie?
Yeah.
That shit nice, ain't it? Look at that.
That's the one you wore when in that video you stitched a Samoan girl.
Yeah. I remember. I got this for Christmas a couple years ago, like 3-4 years ago or something like that. I don't know where. Oh, my grandma got it for me, so I don't know where she got it from. But unless you got it from like Amazon or something.
Man, I'll take a look at them. Oh, live.
Yeah, if you go like to Amazon, you probably can find some stuff. So, all right, what's up, everybody? It's boy Narcotics, boy 94, aka Malik, here with Petty Endo, aka Alan. Here to shoot the shit and talk some Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble was yesterday. A lot of people got a lot to say about it, as they should. A lot of things happened last night. So if you're joining, feel free to leave your thoughts as we continue. If you have questions, always ask questions too. Feel free to interact. You watched the show. I watched the show. What were your expectations going into the show before it started? Were you excited? How did you feel?
I was kind of mid on it, just because knowing how Vince kind of operates and how he books and things of that nature. So a lot of the things that did happen were kind of expected. We did see a couple of things that I wasn't expecting that were kind of cool to watch. So
Right.
It was I didn't have high expectations, so I wasn't severely disappointed.
My expectations were pretty high. I'm not gonna lie. The card was looking fire, so I was pretty excited for it. So we start the show off with Roman and Seth. Seth coming out with the Shield thing that was threw everybody
dope.
off. Yeah,
That was
everybody was like, "Oh shit!" So going into it, who did you have winning? Because I said Roman was gonna win.
Yeah, I think I was texting you during the game during that. I had Seth because I felt like what ended up happening with Brock was going to happen with Roman, but so I figured Roman would drop the title, and then it would be Seth that would win it. But as we know, that's not exactly how it went down.
Yeah, I get why Seth would have won, but I just couldn't see it. I'm like, and then what really held me back for it is too was like I don't know if they're really gonna have Roman lose another championship match to Seth. That was throwing me off. Like is he really gonna lose another title match to Seth Rollins? Like that's what was throwing me off, especially before WrestleMania. I'm like, I don't really see that, but the DQ finish, I don't think anybody expected. I thought we all were expecting at least, a winner. I get why they did it. Roman took the chair to Seth's back. It was vindication for when he broke up the Shield and everything, but I felt like fans were expecting more. I feel like we should have got more with that finish. I think people would have been more happier if he just pinned Seth. You know what I'm saying? Like if he just beat Seth in the ring instead of the DQ finish. Because the DQ finish was just like, and the DQ finish.
Well, not to mention in the DQ finish, I saw something that I don't normally see, which is the DQ came because the referee got the 5.
Right.
That's a very rare thing. Like you almost never see that. So I'm like, what? Are you serious? I'm thinking in my head, are they going? Is with the GM going to come out? Are we going to have a restart of the match? Like we not having this, but no, he just took a chair and wailed on him.
Let's see some of the people in the chat. Jason Adams, what's up, big boy? How you doing? NT, what's going on?
He's always here.
Man, so the DQ finish, I don't know. Personally, I wasn't feeling it. I felt like it could have been betterly with that. But then we get to the Lashley and Lesnar match. Who did you have winning that one?
Once it was shown that, because remember, but once Seth didn't win the title, he didn't beat Roman. I was like, okay, they're gonna get. I had Bobby winning it once that match started, and then how that match ended. Just all the years of watching wrestling. As soon as the referee went down, I'm like, 3, 2, 1, spear.
Yeah. I had Brock winning going into the match. But then things start to change my thought process as well during the match. I was like, maybe, like I could see what if Roman comes out and like cost Brock the title, and then, but I didn't see the Heyman thing happening though.
That was easy because remember, we've been talking for months that nobody was truly convinced that he really disassociated himself with the Chief, and he just handed him the belt like, oh, here, and walked out with him. I'm like, that's the Paul Heyman we know.
What if though somebody threw out this theory to me? He said, how crazy would it be if Roman cost Brock the championship, right?
Right.
Paul Heyman turned on Brock. What if at WrestleMania Paul turns on Roman and he really was with Brock? You know what I mean? At the same time, so it was like a swerve. You know what I mean? So WrestleMania, he calls Roman the title, but he's like, because he's really with Brock the whole time, but like Roman doesn't know it. He doesn't know that, you know. That'd be some shit right there. Like that'd be
well, and then I mean, it'll cause all sorts of panic because we all know how much there's a controversy with Roman Reigns. We've talked about it. I'm cool with the tribal chief. We good. You know, I respect it. I don't know about that greatest, all time stuff like that. We'll get to that down the line, but that would be something.
So Bobby's a champion. I'm interested to see who Bobby faces at WrestleMania. What do you think about that? Who do you see his opponent being at WrestleMania?
I know who I'd like it to be, but I don't know. But they don't have any angle yet. I'd like his opponent to be Seth, but they'd have to.
I'm thinking either. If I had to pick what I'd like his opponent to be, I think I'd like his opponent to be Randy Orton.
Okay.
I think that would be pretty cool. But Randy's going to do something. He's going to probably have a match with Riddle, if anything.
Riddle, yeah. Unless that ends before WrestleMania.
Possibly. Or maybe like, I know a lot of people want to see AJ Styles versus Edge, myself included. What if they did like AJ versus Edge versus Bobby, triple threat or something like that? I think that would be cool. That'd be a cool scenario. If Seth Rollins and Bobby I wouldn't be against it either. But if I had to say who I would like to see him face, it would probably be Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton would be like somebody that I would.
We'll get into Randy Orton in a little bit because I got some things to say about that man.
Randy Orton.
Good things though. Good things.
Okay. Go ahead and say. What do you got to say?
No, I just remember that the Royal Rumble was in St. Louis last night, and right. There's nothing like a hometown pop. Like that was awesome to watch. It was just like, and when he got eliminated, even though we all kind of knew he was gonna get eliminated, the whole crowd booed the hell out of it. It's like, boo, you got rid of my whole time. I'm like, y'all know Randy ain't winning this time. But what made me think for 2 seconds that maybe possibly that they would have was that Michael Cole did mention that had he won, he would join Austin as the only superstar in WWE history to win 3 Rumbles. So, and he was at home. So,
yeah.
But obviously that he's not in the cards.
The women's Rumble. Who did you have winning that going into it? What were your thoughts?
It wasn't who won it. I damn near say that. Regrettably, I was like, okay, I either had Rhea Ripley or Charlotte, and then Rhea Ripley went out a little bit earlier than I thought she would. I thought Rhea Ripley would be because she wasn't in the Final Four, as I recall. No, I had her in the Final Four, and then Charlotte pulled some funny stuff. But then, and you caught this on TikTok, Ronda Rousey comes out. I'm like, oh yeah. It don't take a genius to know who's gonna win it now.
My predictions going into it, I had either Bianca Belair, Bayley, or Ronda Rousey. Those are my picks. I wanted Bayley to come back and win. That's who I want to see win. That's what I wanted to see happen. But Ronda winning wasn't a shocker for me because the rumors were getting too heavy of her coming back and everything. So I was like, yeah, it seems like she's coming back. And I heard that she was ready to come back too. So it was getting, too heavy. Here's my thing with this. I don't have an issue with Ronda winning. I actually like Ronda Rousey. I'm a fan of hers. In my personal opinion, I feel like she's underappreciated for her work because she's not a bad wrestler at all. She's had good matches with good superstars. She had a great debut match at WrestleMania, I thought. She gave Nia Jax 2 of her best matches that probably she had in her career. She had a phenomenal match with Charlotte and a great match with Sasha Banks too. So she's had good matches, so she can go in the ring. And her promo skills improved too over time. Over time that they improved everything, and she brings a lot of star power to the division. I mean, I think 2018 was the best division they had in the women's division. They had
without a doubt. I think the arguments against her are silly because it's like, oh, well, she came to UFC. I'm like, how many times have we had wrestlers come from the UFC and have formidable careers like Ken Shamrock?
Yeah.
Like now Brock obviously wouldn't count because Brock was WWE first, but he did bring it was a little bit more nostalgic when he came back in 2012 after WrestleMania 28.
He was a bigger star when he came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the argument against her starting UFC, I think it's silly. Like, drop that.
I don't think Ronda needed to win though. I mean, there are different ways they could have obviously put her in the title picture because she's Ronda Rousey. I don't think she needed to win. My only thing is that saying she's gonna face Charlotte at WrestleMania, which I'm on issue with that. They had a great match before, so I'm like, all right, I'm cool with this. But they're saying they're trying to push Charlotte as a babyface, and I'm like, well, how can you do that? You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna work. I don't see it working. It could be, maybe it could work because, granted, when she did beat up Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series with that kendo stick, they were cheering her. You know what I mean? So they was happy when that happened. But it's like majority of wrestling fans, especially WWE fans, I feel like hate her more than they like her. And I don't see them cheering her, even if she goes against Ronda Rousey, because I'm not going to cheer Ronda either. Ronda's going to be the heel, which is good for her. But it's like having Charlotte trying to be pushed as a babyface. That's my only issue. I'm like, it kind of reminds me of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns WrestleMania 34 when they were trying to push Roman Reigns heavily as the babyface, and people they didn't like Roman at the time.
Yeah,
so it wasn't going to work.
And it's like with Charlotte, I don't get it from this standpoint. Not only do we not look at her as a babyface, but she has real life heat with Becky Lynch, and everybody loves Becky Lynch. So it's like that's not going to go over well, no matter who you put her in the ring with. Like, but they just WWE once they get on something, this they gonna ride with it. So it's like, all right.
And on top of that too, it's like, well, the plan is, from what I heard, is to have this year Ronda versus Charlotte, and next year Becky versus Ronda in LA. So that's what they're saying. That's what's going around and everything. Because I heard that that Ronda is back as a member of the roster for about a year now. Kind of like the last friendship. Yeah, like she's going to be around for about a year and everything. But it's just, like I said, my only concern is like, we're going to WrestleMania, so I would be down for Ronda versus Charlotte. I think they could have a wonderful match. I'm just worried about how the fans are going to react to it in the stadium. You know what I mean? Like, you saw how they reacted to Brock and Roman. Now, obviously, and this might be the main event for night one. Like, this is probably going to main event night one of WrestleMania. So it's like, I just don't know how fans are going to. I don't know how they're going to grasp towards that. This whole trying to push Charlotte as a babyface type thing. It's just like, it's not something that fans are going to really, really try to get behind, I feel like.
It's been years since she's been looked at by the fans as a babyface, like as somebody that we liked. And I mean, granted, her story, as we all know, we all jump behind her as especially a lot of us that are Ric Flair fans and all that happened. I don't need to bring that back up, but we all know what her motivation was to get in this business, and we all jump behind her. But in this business, things change. And it's like, we don't look at her the same way, especially because right now, the top baby face, even though they try to push her as a heel, is Becky.
And I think, what mainly hurts, it's not really her fault. It's just the way they booked her. You know what I mean? Like, they booked her flip-floppy with the title picture. See, what bothers me about Charlotte Flair isn't Charlotte Flair. She's incredibly talented. She's amazing. It's just, like, this is the longest title reign she's had since she's been the champion, I feel like. And she's already like a 13-time champion, but most of those reigns were meaningless, I feel like. Like, she would win the title, hold it for a month, lose it, and then win it back 2 weeks later. And then she would hold it for 3 weeks, lose it, and then win it back, a month later, and then hold it for a day, and then lose it. It's like you're just adding on to her championship reigns just so she can get close to that Ric Flair, 16-time world champion legacy thing. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah. And at this point, WWE's kind of got to get away from that. Like, with Roman, I get it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I get it. What Vince wants to do, but leave it at that. Like, stop trying to do that with Charlotte. Like, the fans aren't getting behind it.
My guy right here wants to know who is the background man. Come on now, if you don't know who that is, that is Friar Ferguson, sir, aka Bastion Booger.
Bastion Booger.
The guy had 2 terrible gimmicks in wrestling: Bastion Booger and Friar Ferguson. Go look at it, man.
My favorite Royal Rumble of all time. He was supposed to be in it, and he didn't come out.
Why not?
I forget. I'd have to go back and listen, but he didn't come out. And then he didn't come out, and then everybody thought that was Bret Hart because he got hurt at the beginning of the night.
Right,
and then
right.
when Bret Hart did come out, then it was a big pop. But the spot that everybody thought that was actually Bastion Booger's spot, but I don't remember why he didn't come out.
Bastion Booger, Friar Ferguson. All right, so the men's match, man. Who did you have winning this one before, like originally?
Well, it was the switch between Brock and Roman based off of the title picture. So once we got to the Rumble and it was clear that Brock got screwed, I'm like, he's coming. Like, it was clockwork. He's coming in at number 30. But as I mentioned earlier, there were things that gave me cause to pause, especially Randy Orton coming out that late. Like, Randy Orton was number 29, right? Or 28. 29. So I'm like, oh, hometown hero. Could be the third, the second 3-time Royal Rumble winner of all time.
What about when Drew McIntyre came out? Like, he wouldn't even.
Yeah, too.
Nobody thought he was going to be there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I figured he was going to be Final 4, which he was. He was the last one eliminated. But to me, like, it was clear when Brock got screwed at the end of the night. It's like, yeah, he's coming in at number 30. He's going to beat the hell out of everybody, and he's going to point to WrestleMania, and that'll be it.
What did you think about? Because I feel like we definitely live in the era of the Royal Rumble where it's more about surprises and big returns. Like back when we grew up, it wasn't like you didn't really have a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like you just got the roster and somebody just won. What do you think about lack of returns and lack of star power in that Rumble?
It shows the status of the WWE. Like, it's the biggest thing that us as fans talk about. It's the lack of star power, the lack of what you can get on the roster at a given night. Like, most of the big pops of returns we knew were coming. We knew Lita was coming. We knew a lot of these folks were coming. So I think it's just a status of, for whatever reason, people either just don't want to deal with Vince and deal with the product, or I don't know. It's kind of weird because normally they've been pretty good on this.
Yeah, I wanted AJ Styles to win. That's who I wanted to see win. I was hoping AJ Styles would win, but Brock was the pick that seemed that it was going to go down that way. I respect WWE for putting guys in there like the Street Profits and Rich Holland and Madcap Moss and Rick Boogs, young talent that let them go out there and shine in the Rumble. But nowadays, people want surprises. They want big returns. They want the John Cena is to come back, or the Triple H's, or the Goldbergs,
the Rocks,
the Rocks. You know what I mean? Like they want these big surprises. And we didn't really get in that. We didn't even get any NXT superstars either. Usually, you get like a little sprinkle of NXT in there. We didn't even get none of that either. You know what I'm saying? So that was upsetting too. It kind of felt like the '95 Rumble to me a little bit. Like,
you know what?
Like you had certain stars in there, but like you had a bunch of just random people that people just really didn't care much about.
Bro, you know what was funny? The night before, I watched that, and when old boy came out at number 1, I'm like, wow, AJ's coming in number 1, and he's really kicking ass. Are they really gonna pull a Shawn? But then, like, also with the both Royal Rumbles with that lack of star power, I see it where there were only a few guys that you were grasping on, like the '95 Rumble, if I remember. I think it was like Luger.
Luger, Shawn. I think
Luger, Shawn, Owen, who got beat up before he got to the ring.
Maybe Diesel. I think Diesel was in it.
No, Diesel was the champion that year.
Oh, he was the champion. He faced Brett.
Yeah, he faced Brett. But he made a big impression the year before when he knocked out 8 men in the '94.
Yeah, that was '94 Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, man.
Yeah. But good comparison.
It's not that many. I mean,
yeah.
It's really not that many people right there. So,
but I can appreciate how much time they gave some of these guys.
Yeah,
because it brings me back to the CM Punk podcast where he was going off on Rusev. He was like, you have to make your spots count. Like, none of these other folks in the locker room care about you getting a push. You have to make your spots count. So I give WWE credit in the sense that they did give some of these guys a little bit more airtime to make a spot where, you know, they could see something that they could build on. Whether they'll build on it or not, I don't know.
So Brock wins, which was expected. Tomorrow on Raw, which I'll be at Raw tomorrow. Tomorrow on Raw, he's going to announce who his opponent is at WrestleMania, which more than likely we all know he's going to pick Roman. But I got a little curveball I want to throw out your way. What if he decides to challenge Bobby and he wants to face Bobby at the Saudi Arabia show, the Elimination Chamber, beats Bobby, and then at WrestleMania you got title versus title?
That is a curveball. That is a curveball. You know, that could work because there is significant time between now and WrestleMania, and there is another pay-per-view. So that's actually, I wouldn't bank on it. I think he's gonna pick Roman,
more than likely he's gonna pick Roman.
More likely, but I like that idea. I mean, it gives you more to grasp and think about, and that's something that WWE I would take advantage of.
More than likely he's definitely going to pick Roman. I mean, we all know it's going to happen either way. My only thing is that this match has to have a stipulation for me. Like,
I agree.
They've had so many one-on-one matches, like regular matches. Like, I really think you got to have a stipulation. If you put a stipulation in this match, I think fans could at least maybe get a little bit more excited for it. Maybe if it was like a Hell in a Cell or a Last Man Standing, like something like put a stipulation on it, especially with Paul Heyman turning on Brock. You know, that cuts deep. You know what I mean? So it's like Brock and Paul got that history together. You know what I mean? So now he's turned on him before, but like now they've done more together. You know what I mean? Throughout the years they've been together, and he turns on him to go with Roman, and Brock hates Roman. You know what I mean? So it's like a stipulation has to. I feel like it would be so much better with stipulation. Like if it's just a regular one-on-one match, I feel like it's kind of remind me of Randy Orton versus Triple H, WrestleMania 25. You know?
Yeah.
They had a phenomenal build-up, phenomenal feud. You know, a great build-up and everything. But it's like the feud was so personal. Like this man kicked his entire family in the head, kicked his father-in-law in the head, his son-in-law, DDT'd and RKO'd his wife, kissed his wife in the mouth when he was handcuffed in the corner and everything. Like this match should have been like no holds barred, something. I mean, like put a stipulation in there, but it's like I feel like they had to have some type of stipulation to it. I think for me, especially going there in person, it would make it better.
I agree. Especially because, I mean, the last time these two faced at WrestleMania, we all remember what happened. And that match was very redundant. Like, the one thing about the Bobby and Brock match last time is they got away from that pretty quick. Like, it was 5 or 6 suplexes, and then they started to go more into other parts of the match. I'm like, okay, sounds like you've learned your lesson when it comes to Brock matches. Like, you need to have him doing more than just suplexing the hell out of somebody.
Right. I mean, that's how I feel too. Like, I really feel like it was. I don't know. It was very underwhelming to me. The Forbidden Door thing too. That I don't blame WWE for that, because a lot of people have to realize like then there never was a promise for any Forbidden Door. Just because Mickie James was announced for the Women's Royal Rumble, which was cool to see, it didn't mean there was going to be a Forbidden Door for the men's either. There was no promise, no guarantee there was going to be a Forbidden Door. That's just fans getting their expectations high, which is understandable because, like, of course, when you saw Mickie James, you were like, wait a minute, Mickie James, she the Impact Women's Champion. Like, she in the Royal Rumble? Like, oh, like, what if something happened for the men's? Like, what if somebody from AEW or New Japan or, you know, Ring of Honor, or, you know, people start speculating, which it's cool. You can speculate and everything, but people's expectations for that Forbidden Door are way too high. Like,
I figured if they ever did it for the men's, it would be Ring of Honor or New Japan. I was pretty dead set on the fact that it would not be from AEW. Like
no way.
No. Like literally, I heard Punk the other day. Someone did a TikTok video of an interview he was doing, and he was talking about like how so many of the former WWE wrestlers, like when they huddle up together at AEW, it's like an AA meeting.
Yeah. I just feel like The last couple Rumbles have been really good to me. I've enjoyed the last couple years. 2016 was okay, but I don't know. Like Triple H winning, like I didn't really like that as much. 2017 was cool, but again, Randy Orton winning, I felt like that should have been Bray Wyatt's run. But 2017 was a cool show though. But 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, we're all good. I've gone back and watched those Rumble matches many times, and I enjoy them. But this year, man, was a miss. It's a hit or miss. You know what I mean? It was a big miss. I feel like maybe the lead up to WrestleMania will get better. I'm pretty sure with the Elimination Chamber being in Saudi Arabia, they're probably gonna go out for this show. You know what I mean? So they're probably gonna do all types of things for this event. But I feel like a lot of us were expecting more than what we got. You know what I mean? Especially when you look at the card from top to bottom. I mean, the card looked really good. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh man, you got 2 great championship matches. Obviously, the 2 women's Rumble matches. You're like, man, this card's looking pretty sick. You know what I mean? But like, the disappointment was real. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely disappointed.
Bro, and I hate to be that asshole wrestling fan that just kind of is almost pessimistic, but it's with Vince and with that creative team, it's almost what I've grown to expect. So it's hard for me to come into a pay-per-view with really high expectations because so many times it's been a miss. Now, the last couple of Rumbles you were talking about, they have been impressive, and they have hit the mark. And the Royal Rumble is one of those pay-per-views historically where it's been hits and misses. There were some hits early on, then there were some misses, and then so.
Where would you rank this as far as Rumbles? Where would you rank it?
This particular one, I mean, certainly not top 10.
You don't think it's top 10?
I don't think it's top 10. Just because it was too. What makes Royal Rumble so great is the unpredictability, and
right.
So many things in this show were predictable. Brock getting screwed was predictable. Brock winning the Rumble was predictable. Once Ronda coming out, Ronda winning the Royal Rumble was predictable. So when it's predictable at this particular pay-per-view, it kind of takes away from the mystique. The great thing about the Royal Rumble is you never know what could happen and who could win. And this one, it was like if you knew, you knew.
Right. Somebody in the Angel said Cesaro and Balor weren't even in the match. That is true. I do know that I saw a tweet about it. Finn Balor is out of the country, so he's not even in the States. So that's why he wasn't in the match. He wasn't in the country. As far as Cesaro, they probably just didn't do nothing with him. There were other people they had backstage too, like Jillian Hall and Oksana and some other people too. I think even Paige was back there. That they were backstage at the Rumble. I don't know if they were told like they were going to be used or anything, but like they weren't.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was.
So
if they did.
What do you see for the future? Maybe for Elimination Chamber. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think they're gonna do a women's chamber, or what are you thinking?
I mean, they certainly have enough storylines and enough like competitors to make it worthwhile. Like you have some stories. That's one thing about this Royal Rumble that we have a lot of things to build off of going forward. So, I mean, I see it as a possibility, but I think at this point it will probably be geared towards the men.
Who does Roman face at Elimination Chamber?
So he's going to be champion. So he's still champion.
I got 2 people that I think he'll either face.
Go ahead.
One of them is Seth Rollins in a rematch, or the other is Goldberg. The other's gonna be Goldberg.
I'll take A. I want to see Goldberg. God damn it! I want to see Goldberg. Main event pay-per-view against the champ. No.
You're not gonna be Roman though.
I know, but that makes it even worse. I'm like, he's not. He's not going to win.
It's another legend though that Roman can beat.
It's another legend, but it's a legend from like years ago.
Legend is a legend
now. Like no. Like if he beat The Rock, maybe because The Rock has actually been great in the last 10 years since he's been back and whatnot. But Goldberg, it's been mostly squash matches,
and that's what Goldberg does.
But still,
that's what he's known for.
You want Roman to go down as one of the greatest of all time. Matches like with Seth Rollins and some of these other guys, that helps. That builds. You keep giving him guys like Goldberg, and you know it's going to be a squash match. It's like that's going to take away from the mystique of Roman.
Oh well, because Roman, number one, Roman's not going to lose, and it may not even be a squash match. It could just be a good 5-minute, 8-minute match. Roman could win. That's all.
WWE, if you see this, we'll take Seth Rollins for 200.
I mean, I'd prefer to see Seth Rollins again. I mean, him and Seth Rollins would have a better match. You know what I mean? But like, you don't want to see Goldberg wrestle 20 minutes. Like you don't want to see Goldberg wrestle a 20-minute match. That's just like a stipulation, like the match he had with Bobby Lashley at Crown Jewel. I thought was pretty good. It was a stipulation, no holds barred. You know what I mean? So they could go around the ring, use weapons, do different type of things. You know what I mean? So it made it better. But if I had to pick, it would probably either be Goldberg or Seth. I see one of the two happening. Maybe a Drew McIntyre, maybe, but I could also throw his name in the hat too because I could maybe see him being in that picture. But I would say either Goldberg or Seth would be his opponents, and then they'll probably have a Elimination Chamber on the Raw side. Whoever wins that faces Bobby at WrestleMania. So that's what I'm thinking. Because the Chamber, I mean, you'll probably have like AJ Styles in it, Kevin Owens, maybe Finn Balor gets thrown in there, or like Randy Orton gets thrown in it too. Maybe Edge. I think Edge's feud with The Miz is done. You know what I mean? So like he's already beat The Miz twice. I don't see his feud with The Miz getting on a repeat. You know what I mean? So
they shouldn't like that. You had the mixed match last night. That was cool. Right. It was good to see all four.
Because I think it's very possible. We talked about this before. It was a couple of months ago that the idea of having Roman versus Brock versus Drew at WrestleMania in a triple threat.
Which I like.
I like that idea. I would love that. That would be more intriguing to me than Brock and Roman one-on-one. Like that triple threat would be like that's something right there. Like that.
We've already seen them headline WrestleMania before, and I think we can all admit it was pretty much a disaster. Throw something else in there.
Well, the first WrestleMania main event they had was pretty good, I thought. 31 was pretty good. The 34 match was.
34 is what I'm thinking. Okay. I missed 31. My bad.
But I mean, it's just another Austin and Rock, 3 WrestleMania matches. You know what I mean? Like, that's how Vince probably looks at it. It's another Rock and Austin. You know what I mean? It's just another feud of this era that he sees that can draw money, which honestly, it will draw money. It'll get headlines. It'll be box office. It's still going to do its thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Roman and Brock have fought so many times, you know what I mean? But it's not like we haven't seen people who've been in rivalries fight so many times before. I mean, look at Randy Orton and John Cena. How many times these guys fight? You know what I mean? Like, they fought numerous times. They never had a match at WrestleMania, which was always upsetting to me. Like, they never had a WrestleMania match one-on-one. But they've had numerous matches. You go back from 2007. That's when it started. They had their match at SummerSlam. They had their match at Unforgiven. They were supposed to have their last man standing match at No Mercy, but then Cena got hurt. Cena comes back, wins the Rumble. He wants to face Randy Orton for the championship, but he doesn't want to wait till WrestleMania, so he faces Randy Orton one-on-one in No Way Out. That ended, with the DQ and everything. Then, they kind of separated, did their own little things. You fast forward 2009. 2009, they fought at SummerSlam again. Then they fought at Breaking Point in the I Quit match. Then they fought inside Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Then they fought at Bragging Rights in the Iron Man match. Separated for a little bit, had their own little thing. Then remember, in 2013, they had a unification match at TLC for the World Heavyweight and the WWE Championship. Then they had their match at the Royal Rumble in 2014. Then they had another Hell in a Cell match again in 2014 too. So it's like, but they fought so many times. Like these guys have fought so many times. You know what I mean? But it was always something that people would watch. You know what I mean? Because it's two of the best. You know what I mean? So that's how they look at Brock and Roman. Brock and Roman are two of the best. They're Vince's money-making machines. That's what I'm calling them. It's money-making machines. They're going to draw money. It's going to be box office. People can complain about it. They can bitch about it. They can cry about it. They can be upset about it. But people are going to watch it.
It ain't going to, trust me, it ain't going to stop Vince from doing what he want to do.
Not at all. I mean, he's at the end of the day, it's still, like I said, it's still going to make money. It's still going to do its thing. And that's the goal at the end of the day. That's what Vince, he cares about. Now, I really wish they could focus on building up other superstars because you really need star power on that roster. You really should focus on building up other people. Roman's your face of the company. That's fine. He can be your top guy. But, these guys that could be the future of your company, and they release so many people from the roster that could have been so valuable too. You got to start focusing on building up other guys on the roster, man. Like you need superstars.
Facts.
I mean, you look at what was it? Not even 3 years ago, before the pandemic, the roster was so stacked with people, but they weren't using everybody on their roster. They were at one point, obviously, they were offering superstars more money to stay so they wouldn't leave and go to AEW or go to other promotions. Then they just start dropping people off, like, they started letting people go after right. And this is like, where all these people getting let go for? Some of these
And
people
we've
so
never
valuable.
gotten a full understanding of what the hell that was about either.
We never will. You
Never
never.
will.
They said budget cuts, but it's like, they ain't broke. You know what I mean? Like WWE got money.
Didn't they just sign a deal with Disney for last night's Royal Rumble?
Yeah, they just sound like an extension with Disney. They sold the network for $1 billion. So it's like, they sold the network to Peacock for $1 billion.
$1 billion. Like they're not pressed for cash.
Yeah, so it makes it interesting. Like they have guys that I do like on the roster they could use. You know what I mean? But it's like they're solely focused on building around Roman Reigns, and as long as Brock Lesnar's there, Brock Lesnar's going to be in the position that he's in. He's going to be in the main event spots. He's going to be one of their top guys, one of their top draws. Which he's actually been doing a lot more. You know what I mean? Like he's been appearing a lot more on shows and everything. Till it's like, but they're paying him some like buku amounts of money, to show up more on television and everything. So, what are things? What as of right now? What are you seeing the plans for WrestleMania? What do you think the future holds as of right now? It's January. It's January 30th right now, so we got a little bit for WrestleMania. But as of right now, on January 30th, 2022, what do you think WrestleMania is looking like right now?
Right now, I mean, obviously Roman and Brock. I'm interested to see. I can't really figure out what they're going to do with Becky.
I think
now,
I think she's gonna face Bianca again.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I could think of because I'm like, I can't think of anybody else they're going to put her because obviously we've already talked about like Charlotte Flair probably locking it up with Ronda again, and that's a different brand anyway. I love the idea that you brought up of throwing Drew McIntyre because you do that if you put some more of these superstars in, like these match scenarios, then you don't have to worry about what the hell you're going to do. You don't have to worry about an extra match and extra storyline for Drew McIntyre if you just put him in the match with Roman and Brock.
Right.
Problem solved. You don't have to do anything else with that. So that's that. We said Charlotte and what she's going to do.
What about Bobby Lashley?
Toss
up. It's toss up.
I'll throw another name out. And it was kind of disappointing because he didn't get the reaction I thought he deserved was Big E. I kind of felt like
Big E's on SmackDown now though.
Well, but still him come. I know, but it's the Rumble. So I'm like, damn. I mean, get him.
It's over for him, man. If he was gonna get that push they want him to, then he would have won at day one. He would have still been the champion right now. But it's done for him. It's unfortunate too, but plus I don't think people just really. I think a lot of fans kind of ruined it a little bit too because they said they couldn't take him serious as champion. I mean, so it's like. I don't think people were going to get behind him as I don't think as much people were going to get behind him as he needed. You know what I mean? Just because fans looking at him and not being a serious type of champion because of his gimmick and what he does in the ring. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think it was just an experiment that WWE was trying, and he got a good reaction when he won. When he beat Bobby Lashley on Raw, but it's like. It was just an experiment, I think, for the fans. Now Big E's going back to the tag team for the New Day. Like that's his position right there. You know what I mean, like, that's where he's going to.
Sadly, I mean, yeah. Sadly, with wrestling, I mean, especially with historically with a lot of the great black wrestlers, like they usually get grouped in tag teams or factions.
Right.
And, I mean, I would say the exception in recent years would probably be Mark Henry. Like Mark Henry, they did kind of they gave him, the somebody's going to get your ass kicked. song. They gave him, the big world's strongest man
6
gimmick.
Mafia? Yeah.
Huh? 3-6 Mafia, so, but like Ron Simmons was a world champion in WCW, and they put him in the Nation, which wasn't bad. I mean,
the Nation first in the APA, yeah.
I mean, the Nation in the APA, so it's like we've seen this, but damn, I like Big E. Like I've heard him speak, I've heard him on interviews. He's very informative. I think that he deserves better. So with that being said, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Bobby yet.
What's something that you don't want to see happen at WrestleMania? I don't want to see that.
Well, obviously, I don't want to see Goldberg. No, I'm just messing. I don't care if I see Goldberg. I don't want to see. If you're going to give Bobby an opponent at WrestleMania, first of all, give us an opponent. Give him an opponent that either he hasn't had in recent months, or just give us a really good opponent, because he deserves a lot better too with the push that he's getting. So I don't want to see him in any sort of like squash match or any sort of small time. Like, this is Bobby Lashley. Give him the respect he deserves. I would rather not see Becky Lynch lose, but I see that coming at some point. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, she got to lose at some point. I think WrestleMania is her time. What I would want to see happen for WrestleMania, I want to see Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair in a triple threat. Those are she really screwed over both people. She squashed Bianca at SummerSlam, which was terrible, and she cheated to beat Bianca. She cheated to beat Liv Morgan too. You know what I mean? And those are two people that could be very valuable to the future of the women's division. So, excuse me, that's what I want to see.
And I would also like to see Kevin Owens sort of get a little bit more of a push too. Like, he's kind of like right there.
Maybe Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley.
Maybe I like that idea.
Maybe
I like that idea.
Maybe that could go down. I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean,
the promos alone would get.
Or maybe Bobby versus KO versus Seth. I mean, because Seth and KO kind of got that little friendship thing going on right now. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe they do that triple threat and I don't know. I like that idea too. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, we'll be at WrestleMania, so.
Bobby versus Finn Balor.
The Demon.
Yeah, they already had their match. Remember, WrestleMania 35.
I know.
For the IC title.
Stakes would be bigger, but no, I don't want to see that.
If you all have some questions you want to, drop them in the chat. I'll answer some questions for you guys real quick.
Right. I'm gonna step off and grab something to drink. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll answer some questions for you guys real quick until he comes back. Well, he won't be gone long. I'm sure he'll be back, sooner rather than later. But if you guys have some questions, I'll answer a couple of questions for you guys real quick. AJ Styles and Bobby would be good too. Yeah, I want to see Sonya Deville and the Naomi thing done too, man. I really want to see Naomi in the Bloodline, so hopefully we can get that at some point. It would be nice to see, but you never say never.
Never say never. Okay.
He said Omos versus Bobby Lashley. What do you think about that?
Omos?
Yeah.
They build
Be honest.
If they build it right, but
I don't want to see that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, although he did have an impressive stand at the Rumble last night. I think
he did all right.
He did all right.
Edge versus AJ, that's something I want to see at WrestleMania. That could possibly go down. When do I think Arcade Bros breaking up? Probably sometime before WrestleMania for sure. I think Riddle and Orton are going to have a match at WrestleMania. So maybe like at the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. Maybe the Raw after the Chamber. I don't know. Somewhere in that time frame between February and March is where I really see it going down.
They've got plenty of time. You've got plenty of time to figure it out.
KO going to be Priest for the U.S. title. I'd be all right with that if he took the title from Damian Priest. I'd be cool with that. Ciampa versus Lashley. Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that either. I don't see that going down. I mean, they probably could bring up Tommaso Ciampa from NXT, but I don't really see that. Where was Apollo Crews and Commander Z's? They were in the back. That's where they were. They were not on the show. I guess they probably just didn't want them on the show. I'm guessing they didn't have any plans for them to utilize them or use them, so they just sat in the back and probably just hung around.
Oh, wait, WWE not having plans for somebody? Never heard that concept before.
No, gosh. Do you think WWE's having trouble to find a perfect young talent to push? Yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, it seems like maybe Austin Theory could be one of their guys. He seems like a WWE Vince guy. Braun Breaker is somebody that I definitely think will be getting a big push when he comes. As far as Gable Steveson as well, when he debuts, the Olympic gold medalist, I see him getting a big push too. But as far as building up a young new fresh talent, yeah, I mean, when you look at the roster, I mean, there's really nobody there that you can see clear cut. You know what I mean? As somebody who's the next future. Like, oh, that guy right there. Besides Braun Breaker, to me from NXT, but like, there's really nobody there. What about you?
And this has been a problem off and on in the history of the company, where it's like, at least back in the old days, there was a much smaller roster, so it's like you can make an argument, but now it's like, and this has been my issue with, like, when you continue to push, guys like Roman, guys like Brock, like the big attractions. It's like, okay, but you've got, wrestling's it's a pipeline. There are different sections. You have to make sure all sections are fed so that this thing works around. Or else, how do you find the next star?
Brock versus Reigns versus Lashley unification match. What do you think about that?
Brock versus Reigns versus Lashley. I don't know if I like that. I like the idea of putting Drew in there better than a three-way with those three.
Yeah, I don't think I like that either, especially in the unification match type thing. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's not something that I would like, be hoping for.
Yeah. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but we certainly wouldn't want to see it.
So I definitely think Roman will defend his championship. I don't know about Brock. I mean, Brock does go to the Saudi shows here and there, and he loves that Saudi paycheck, I'm sure. But I'm not sure if Brock is going to compete. I heard rumors that he wasn't going to be at the Chamber, so maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does, but I don't know. I honestly don't think he's going to be at this one.
Wouldn't surprise me. You think Seth deserves?
I think Seth deserves a rematch.
Sure. Will he get it is the question.
I think storyline wise, yeah. I mean, technically, Roman still hasn't beaten Seth in a championship match. I mean, like, disqualification, Seth was the winner. He just didn't win the title. I mean, he's not the Universal Champion. Roman's still the head of the table. The Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion. So, yes, sir. We the ones, man. We the ones. I just maybe he does get a rematch. I can see it happening, a rematch happening. And what do you think of the rematch happening? What would you think then?
I would like it, but I would like it up until you realize the fact that Roman's just not going to lose the championship. So it's like, with WrestleMania coming, like, if it was a good match, I'd watch it, but it's like, what's the point? Like, ultimately, the goal is not to put Seth over. So
yeah, because WrestleMania coming up and everything, so it's like, yeah, like, the Rumble will be more predictable than having the match to Chamber. You know what I mean? Like, that would be way more unpredictable, I feel like, for a lot of people.
And then
what matches will you go ahead?
No, go ahead.
What matches will be the actual Chamber match? They'll definitely probably have a number one contenders match to see the winner. The winner faces the WWE champion at WrestleMania, which is Bobby Lashley. And they'll probably do a women's match too. I don't know how that one will work or who will be in it, but I can see that happening. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, because it's going to be contingent off of who Brock picks. So then, if Brock picks,
which more than likely is going to be Roman,
it's going to be Roman. Then yeah, that makes sense.
I'd be pretty shocked if he didn't pick Roman. I mean, like, if they did the big swerve, he picks Bobby and everything. That would be some shit for me.
I could just see you shooting a video like, he did what? Oh no!
Excuse me, If they do something like that, which it wouldn't really stun me because, like, with WWE, you never really know nowadays, man. Like, you never know what you can trust, what you can't trust. It's really iffy, man. So I'm not really sure if they do something like that. But I mean, they do piss people off a lot, and I feel like they do like to piss people off a lot nowadays. So it's like,
Oh yeah, they love they watch them TikToks and them tweets. I think they get off on that. Like, oh, we did this. They don't like it. Oh well, they still pay to see it. Peacock numbers ain't down.
oh, man, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens leading up to WrestleMania because I don't really know what's going down. There's like no clear cut image, as far as following that road down that path. You know what I mean? Like I don't really see any images for a lot of people. Like I don't see what's going to happen.
Which typically you get a much clearer picture after the Rumble, and now we're looking at the Elimination Chamber is kind of our answer to what exactly they're gonna do. So, yeah,
I think Ronda won at Mania. Who do you think she will face?
Charlotte.
Yeah, if I had to pick, she's probably gonna face Charlotte, and she definitely, I would say, she's gonna win too at WrestleMania. So
You're gonna have a whole lot of pissed off Texans if she doesn't win.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's between her and Charlotte, so it's like it's like apples and oranges. Like you got to pick and choose. So it's like which one you want? You want the apple? Or you want the orange? So how do you want to do it? That is some.
It's the wildest swerve I've ever seen. Where Ric Flair, if Ric Flair was one of the greatest heels of all time, and if he won, it didn't really matter. Like I've seen venues where he got popped, and he was the heel, whereas they hate Charlotte. Like they legit hate. Like Charlotte is almost as hated as Cody Rhodes. Like I think it's
it's
pretty similar argument.
It's pretty close. I feel like I agree. I feel like it's pretty close. I mean, nobody's knocking her talent either. I think she's an amazing wrestler. She's amazing. I think her mic skills are really good too. Like she's an all around athlete. Like she has that it factor. You know what I mean? But it's like because her last name is Flair, her push is is overlooked by that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Ooh. Tanya, good question. Damian Priest next challenger. I think it's gonna be Austin Theory. If I had to pick, I think Austin Theory will probably be the U.S. champion. He's gonna get a slow push. It seems like Vince McMahon is really high on Austin Theory. He seems like a Vince McMahon type of guy. So if I had to bet, I would probably say Austin Theory would be somebody that I see happening.
I agree, especially because he's a Vince McMahon guy. Vince McMahon takes care of his guys. So.
I mean, right now Vince is doing vignettes with him on TV, but Vince barely shows up on TV. Like, when's the last time you saw Vince on TV every week doing something? Whether it's backstage or not.
And we probably won't see him too much for a while because, as I understood, he lost his mother yesterday, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. So, and I like Austin Theory too. I think Austin Theory could be a good United States champion if keyword if he is booked correctly. It's one thing to win the championship, but you have to also be booked properly as the champion to make the championship feel important, feel relevant, and to make people care about you. So it's a big if. I don't know if it'll really happen, but it's a big if. It's always interesting to see what goes down. I'm hoping at least the WrestleMania card is good though. You know what I mean? Like I could have went to the Royal Rumble last night, but I'm glad I actually didn't. You know what I mean? Because it's like I could have got tickets. I could have been there. And it's like, man, I would have been so mad and so disappointed with how everything went down and everything.
As you know, a bunch of our buddies on TikTok went and I saw a lot of sides. Shout out to Infamous Opinion. She's just like,
yeah, I think it was an Infamous Opinionist and Love Panda and
Gruber and Comic Punk Guy. They were all together.
They seem like cool people, man. So, who do they have with so Sami Zayn is the number one contender. So I'm assuming he's probably going to face Shinsuke in the next couple of weeks. But nobody really cares about the Intercontinental title anymore. Nobody cares about Shinsuke Nakamura anymore either. And I'm mad that WWE's gotten to the point where they make me not care about Nakamura because Nakamura in New Japan was amazing. Him in NXT was amazing. But now he's on the main roster. I don't really give a crap about Shinsuke Nakamura. And I hate that I say that because he's so good, but it's like they make you not care about him.
After WrestleMania, I think it was it 34, the match he had with AJ. Like we've been over that. Like I hated how they booked that, and it was like you just you literally set it up where the bottom of the styrofoam cup is going to fall over and people aren't going to care about him. And now 4 years later, here we are. So
yeah, I wouldn't. It's really tough subject with the Intercontinental Championship, man. Like they made that title feel so non-important in so many ways. You know what I mean? Like it's tragic to see where the Intercontinental Championship has gone. You know, that used to be the workhorse championship. Like if you
it's
win
not
the
even fun to look
championship,
at it.
yeah,
It's easily the ugliest belt in the business right now too. The thing is terrible.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
I'm not a big fan of the Intercontinental Championship.
Shout out to Manuel Torres. I'm scared Goldberg is going to return. Yeah, I am too.
We need Goldberg. We need Goldberg.
No, we don't.
Goldberg.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No.
Bring him back, man. Bring him back. Goldberg versus Randy Orton. Goldberg versus Drew. Goldberg versus Cena. Goldberg versus
hell to the no.
Reigns.
So now you tripping. You don't put you do not want to see him in the ring with Tribal Chief. Stop the cap.
I'd be all right with it. I mean, Roman's gonna win, so I'll be cool with it.
Cap.
I'm scared Goldberg's gonna return. Let me see. I thought Moose was gonna enter the Rumble. I thought Moose was gonna be in the Rumble. Yeah, that's nice too. Moose is the current Impact World Champion. He was my forbidden door. I was like, Moose is gonna show up. I see it. He got good friends in WWE too, and Mickey James is there. She's the Impact Women's Champion. They're talking about they're gonna play Hardcore Country, which they did. But you know, it was it was not something that impressed. I will say that.
Nope. No, sir.
So overall, what are your final thoughts on the Royal Rumble? What are some things that you liked, some things that you just hated?
I mean, I don't think there was anything I hated. Like a lot of the things that happened that were predictable, I was like, I'm kind of just numb about it. I thought they did a pretty decent job at, you know, getting some of these younger talents a little bit more airtime in the Royal Rumbles so that they can make it push. You know, they could get a significant push. Now, whether they'll get that push in this form of WWE is yet to be determined. I guess I will say I hated the Roman ending, the Roman and Seth Rollins ending. I didn't like that. And I was just like, you might as well just have him pinned him and be done with it. Like that just.
How long do you think Roman's gonna be the champion?
Probably till. I mean, if he doesn't lose at WrestleMania, then he probably holds the title. I don't know, till SummerSlam. I don't know.
You're talking about WrestleMania this year, right?
This year, if he doesn't drop the title at WrestleMania this year, then I don't know. I couldn't tell you because Vince is pretty hung up on this guy.
What are your thoughts on Johnny Gargano? I think he will be in the main roster or AEW. I don't feel like going to AEW would make sense since he's more than likely he's probably going to go to AEW. I don't see him going back to WWE because I don't see them really doing nothing with Johnny Gargano on the main roster. Sadly, like I don't see it happening. You know, he'll be like on main event every week getting beat by somebody stupid. You know what I mean? So I don't see big hopes for Johnny Gargano. And I think he kind of feels the same way, maybe. I don't know. He's kind of like, maybe I should probably bounce while I can, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so I could see that going down.
I agree.
You know what was funny too last night? The Johnny Knoxville thing. I thought he did so well, dude.
Johnny Knoxville. He did. Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny loaded, bro. He's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, he's pretty clean. You know what I mean? Like, he's pretty nice. And he understands the business too. Like, he understands wrestling. And like, you saw him over there holding the bottom ropes. You know what I mean? When somebody was trying to grab him and everything. Like, that's just awareness because you know the match. Not everybody's like that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody would have did the same thing.
He's smart enough to the business.
Yeah, so
I agree.
He's a massive fan. But I saw other rumors too that there was going to be another celebrity match at WrestleMania this year. It wasn't going to be Bad Bunny, but they didn't say what celebrity it would be. I mean, like, they were pushing for another celebrity match. So I'm interested to see what that could be. I'm like, another celebrity match. Oh, like that could be intriguing. You know what I mean? Like another celebrity match. There's so many. I feel like so many things that could go down with that. So I'm like, there's a lot of people that I think I would like to see, but you know, you never really know. So I don't know what's going to go down. You guys can drop a couple more questions. I'll answer a couple more questions for you guys before we head off here. Just drop a couple more questions. It
was a decent Royal Rumble.
I will say Kofi in that botch First of
Yeah,
all, kudos to Kofi for trying that attempt. You know, what I mean,
he tried it.
that's a tough stunt right there to try to do. You know, what I mean, like he tried, but just didn't pull it off right. Maybe he probably tried it earlier in the day and probably got it. You know what I mean? But sometimes on live TV, or live pay per view, things happen. So
As we know.
I do miss Bray Wyatt, man. The Fiend was the best character in WWE besides the Tribal Chief. If you ask me, I was so invested into the Fiend's character. Like his character work and his knowledge for wrestling is so incredible. When he was the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, he's got the whole world in your hands and everything. So freaking over, they ruined that. Then he reinvents himself into this Fiend character, which to me was even better than the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. And they ruined that one too. It's like, how can you not just book this man the way he needs to be booked? Like it's not. It's like simple math. Like it's not. It's like a rocket scientist to figure that out. Like, oh, that's Bray Wyatt disappoints me, man. I'm disappointed about how his career turned out.
Long list of guys like Bray Wyatt I've watched over the years with WWE. He's just the latest one. And it was a little disheartening because there are quite a few people on TikTok that were predicting he would be Rumble. I'm like, nah, it's not gonna
happen. Do you think Lita will have? Let me see. Do you think Lita will have another run? I think it was just a one-time appearance. I did hear rumors that she could face Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, but if I had to really bet, I would probably say it's just a one and done. She probably just showed up for the Rumble, and she's probably gonna bounce.
Heading back to my hometown. That's where she lives.
Yeah, I kind of think it's just kind of a one-time thing, one-time deal. I don't really see her sticking around. Now, if she does face Sasha at WrestleMania, that would be dope. You know what I mean? But I don't really see. I don't know. I don't really see it yet. I don't see Lita sticking around unless there's something planned that we don't know about yet. Like, maybe she's promised that Trish will come back and team up with her to face like Bayley and Sasha or something like that. Or
that would be cool.
A match with Sasha Banks. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think Trish Stratus had a post where she had a glass of wine and she was just sitting back watching the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think she got that from Bayley because Bayley posted it first because she was a lot of people thought Bayley was going to be in the Rumble, and after she wasn't, she posted a picture of like her drinking something in a glass, like watching the Rumble type thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I got you. You thought I was going to be there, thing, but really at home chilling, in the crib.
It's like DJ Khaled. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Do you feel like WWE will do Cena versus Orton for the 17th World Championship down the line?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I don't see Cena come. Like, you have to get Cena back, and then you have to build it up, and then you have to do it in a way that it doesn't, because they're not going to let anything disrupt what they want to do for Roman, even though Roman's on SmackDown, but still, like, Roman is going to, for the foreseeable future, be the face, and I feel like that. Plus, I don't think that match would draw as much as it used to.
Yeah, I don't know, because Randy would have to win the title a couple more times.
Right.
He's not at 16 yet. You know what I mean? He's only at 14, so he would have to. He had to win it a couple more times, but it's not saying that he couldn't though.
He could, but at this point, with championships, like with championship reigns, and you winning it so many times, it then becomes: is it really because this person is getting over and he's hot, or is it just because they want to give him this record? Because if it's to give him the record, that's going to turn the fans off.
Yeah, for sure. They ain't stupid. They know. I mean, fans aren't ignorant. You know what I mean? Like, they're intelligent. They know what's going on. They know what the dealio is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they know how things are going to go down and get played. Overall, though, the Rumble was very underwhelming, very disappointing. I was very upset about a lot of things, but like I said, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take offense to it. It's just something that, when you get your expectations high for shows like this, it's usually sometimes results in disappointment. You know what I mean? So it's like, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of us, myself included, we were so happy, so excited for the Royal Rumble. Couldn't wait. And then after the show ended, everybody felt very angry and disappointed and sad, which you all have emotions. You're all entitled to feel that way, but it's just, it sucks when you you get something so nice like that, a card, but it's like
The
it's
engine's
just like
already screwed up, and you didn't
yeah,
know.
you expect so much more, and then it's just like it's just very mild. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh man, it's like it's not what I expected. So who do you think will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year?
Well, I know it won't be Jeff Hardy because he said no.
I definitely think Undertaker because he's from
Taker.
Texas.
It's about
Probably,
time.
probably Batista because he was supposed to go in a couple years ago, 2020, but he declined it because of the pandemic and everything. So probably Batista. Probably definitely Undertaker. Maybe on like Eric Bischoff or something. I don't know. As far as a woman, maybe like Ivory or something like that. I don't know. Something in that.
It was nice to see her last night.
Oh yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see Ivory. The right to censor. Music and everything.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah, that was that was something. That was something. But I would probably say, yeah, I would say if fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I can't remember. Oh, the Hall of Fame. As far as Hall of Fame, I definitely say Taker for sure, and then probably Batista. Those two I could see going in this year for sure, for many reasons. So I would say probably both those guys. They haven't announced anybody for the Hall of Fame yet. Usually they kind of announce some people, but they haven't.
No, they haven't.
They haven't dropped anybody. They haven't dropped anybody that they were going to give out yet. So
Wait a minute. Eric Bischoff already went in though.
when?
He's class of 2021.
Oh, so he just went in?
Yeah, he went in last year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was him, Kane, Molly Holly, Kali, Van Dam.
Oh, okay. So he's already in the Hall of Fame.
He's already in.
Yeah, I didn't see his Hall of Fame speech.
That's why I scrunched my head. I was like, wait a minute. I could have sworn I remember Eric Bischoff got in. Yeah.
Agree or disagree? The women's Royal Rumble match is better than the men's Royal Rumble. I agree.
Yeah. There was a little. Obviously, there was a bigger pop, and there was a little bit more mystique when Ronda came back, because I think with Brock, we all pretty much knew number 30. You gonna hear that? I'm like, all right, well, beat everybody's ass, point at WrestleMania, and end the show.
Yeah, I think the women's Rumble, the women's Rumble, a couple years, I think. 2018, I thought the women's Rumble was better. 2019, I liked the men's, but I thought the women's was better. 2020, I thought the women's was cool. The men's Rumble was better in 2020. And last year can go back either for the men's and women's was really good last year in 2021 when Bianca Belair.
Last year was a push.
Yeah, Vader still hasn't been in the Hall of Fame either. They had an opportunity to put him in when he was still alive too. He ain't alive anymore.
I mean, they should have, but like for some of those guys, they just want to wait posthumously, because look how long it took for them to put Randy Savage in. Like, they waited till Randy Savage had already passed away. So
yeah.
Now obviously there's the rumors and the backstory and all that other stuff, but it wasn't nearly. Vader's doesn't compare, so Vader should definitely already be in and be over with. I still think he's the greatest big man in the history of the business. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. All right, so I want to ask you this question. I seen this on TikTok. I don't know if you never answered it. I don't know if you did or not, but it was somebody said if you had a promotion, you could pick 4 superstars to start your promotion with. Who would you pick?
I think I know what you're talking about. I hadn't gotten around to answering it.
My answers were, I said Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, John Cena, and Stone Cold. That was my answer.
Okay. Well, I'm with you on Shawn. I'm with you on Taker. Yeah, I could do Stone Cold.
Steve Austin.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Shawn, Taker.
Number 4. So Shawn, Taker, Steve Austin, and Bret Hart.
What about for the women?
Women, and this is all time, right?
Yeah, pick anybody.
All time. Lita, Moolah, Trish, and probably Medusa.
Oh, 100 Blaze. Okay.
100 Blaze, Medusa. Yeah, I could throw her in that match.
Yeah, women's is tough though, man. Women's is tough. I definitely have Tristan Lee though. I have China.
Okay. Can't get mad at that.
Last one though, man. I'm stuck between that for Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Becky. I'm stuck. It's between one of those for me. For the last one, I'm stuck on the last one. I like Charlotte. I like Becky. I like Sasha. So I would love to have either one of them. I don't know who I would want to fit in there with China, Trish, and Lita. Another woman I like too is Luna Vachon. I do.
Luna, yeah. I don't know if I'd start a promotion with her, but I'd definitely make sure she got in. Like,
I think I would though. I think her character work, especially with how women's wrestling is today, I think her character work would be one of the best, man. Like back then, she was more much of a manager. You know what I mean? So like, women's wrestling wasn't the same, but her character work, I think, is really good. Like in today's wrestling, she would thrive so much.
Well, and we would also have to give consideration to Sherry then.
Yeah,
if we're gonna look at Luna, we got to look at Sherry. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, they all could be way more successful in this era just because of how women's wrestling is. Like they got their own Royal Rumble, they got their chamber matches, they have their own cell matches now.
Yeah,
so many different things, and they have their own pay per view. Whoever thought we see an all women's pay per view, you know what I mean? Like that's mind blowing itself. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I think our picks are based off of talent, and then also what they bring to the creative, the creative and stuff like that. Like, I already know people would backlash on my, and I'll probably make that video. I have to go back and look, but would probably backlash on me picking Bret Hart. And I'm like, well, okay, you get me with the mic skills, but like, I get all that ring psychology. I get the creative matches. I get the guy that brought the ladder match and all this other shit. I get all that day one. I don't have to wait. Then, oh yeah.
No, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, and then when he retires, I can keep him in the fold, and then he can be an agent or maybe even work in the office. So that's an investment after.
It depends. As long as you don't screw him.
If you don't screw him, well, this is all hypothetical. I ain't gonna screw him, but Vince certainly did. That's a different story.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here, man. Appreciate you guys for watching. Just want to chat about the Royal Rumble a little bit for you guys. Just see what you guys are thinking, what you guys were talking about. And then everybody wants to express how they feel about it and everything. So, like I said, we wish that things could have been different. Things could have been a lot more worse yesterday, though. Like, gotta keep that in mind. Things could have been way more worse, than it could have been. But at least it wasn't as At least it wasn't 2015 Royal Rumble. That's all I know. 2015 Rumble was rough. That one was rough. So, what is that? Oh, trash. Is that a trash can?
It's a trash can.
So make sure you guys follow everything. Social media is Narcolepsy94, all platforms. Give my guy right here, Petty Endo, follow on all social media platforms.
Petty Endo89 on TikTok, Petty Endo on Instagram.
So you guys be safe. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next stream, we'll be back.